fact, you could, say whatever problematic thing you'd like, and we could cut it so that it sounds like you're making a very positive statement about whatever you were saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Excellent.
So we're here to alter the news as we see fit, right?
Great.
I mean, I think it's our responsibility as media men, right? Would you say that we're within that?
I guess
space?
I work for media in real life.
Yeah.
So outside of the podcast, so I decide what people think at any given moment. I get an email and it's like, hey, we're wondering if people could think this way, and I say, well, I'll get right on it, sir.
I'm gonna do it. Make it happen.
Yeah.
Well, what are they? What is it? History is written by the victors. So would you consider yourself a victor?
A victor in that I don't know. I'm a victor in that I don't have a real job,
which is the ultimate victory. Yeah,
that would be nice.
Yeah,
That'd be nice. Don't get a real job. It's not worth it.
No. I mean, honestly, though, right? Like, getting one of these 21st century fake jobs is probably the best way to go if you can make money doing it. Right? It's the least amount of responsibility for the most amount of chill time. Right.
And I don't have to call somebody on the phone and ask them about their auto payment.
That's true. That's absolutely true. Yeah. Well, how do you get one of these 21st century jobs?
I don't know. There's a lot on the internet. You just have to look them up mostly.
That's true. Yeah.
I would say that working for yourself is a really good way to have a 21st century job.
Yeah.
Do you know how to code?
Learn to code. No, I don't know how to code.
Are you good at art?
No, actually, in senior year of high school, I won the departmental award for art.
Oh, wow. Was it because you were like a good noodle or because your art was
precisely
good?
Why. We designed a garden for our campus at SMCC in Monroe, Michigan.
Yeah.
And I was the head of the project. I was just the teacher's pet, really. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And we had this whole project, elaborate garden design. It's an architecture class, so we had to do something. And I did all the CAD layout, so I guess I can code in that sense.
Yeah,
so I haven't done it.
Okay. These are all skills that are very marketable, Jim.
But we did this garden. We were going to do a fundraiser for it.
Yeah.
And then at the same time we were about to announce our fundraiser, the school announced a $2 million capital campaign. So we decided, well, we can't fundraise. So instead of raising a few $1,000s, we raised like $150 and planted some arborvitaes around a dumpster. So. But I got that award. Damn it. I got it.
Oh, man.
Talk about beautification.
What is it with everybody knowing how to do CAD? Like, I feel like our high school was into this too, where everybody, I mean, it wasn't required, but mostly everybody took.
Well, and I wonder
it was instead of shop class.
Maybe somebody
CAD
who
class.
works at the folks that design like CAD. I don't know. Like, there's
I
some
think honestly, it was because we were a Boeing feeder school.
You're probably right. you're probably
That's
right.
the full explanation.
Yeah. Boeing came out and said, we'll pay for all these CAD classes. If you guys can, throw people our
because
way.
halfway through the CAD class, they'd be like, you can drop out of high school early and go to CAD high school, or like not go to college and go to CAD college and then work for Boeing.
I've kind of turned against the whole modern industrial society thing.
Oh, okay. Nice.
And all of its,
I don't know
anything repercussions.
Whatever they say. But it is kind of cool to work at a Boeing feeder school. I mean, I went to the only Catholic high school in my county. It was the only private high school in my county. Mm-hmm. So we weren't really a feeder to anything beyond like the local community college, which is a feeder to, I don't know what.
Well, you were a feeder to the kingdom of God.
That's
right?
true.
So.
That's absolutely true. Doing the Lord's work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
We weren't, I don't think we were technically a feeder school in that we were a private school or whatnot, but they paid large quantities of money to our district.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine that Boeing wouldn't be spending millions of dollars a year on the surrounding school districts, right? Because it's just the easiest way to get in that new, fresh talent.
That new, fresh talent. Bright-eyed, bushy-tailed little boys and girls looking to make planes.
We know plenty of people that ended up working at Boeing after graduation.
Former guest, Riley Nelson, still working for Boeing, I believe.
Correct.
Yeah, doing landing gear last time I asked him about it.
Yes. I think the dog is stuck on the cord.
Lucille, get over here, dude.
This dog is getting out of freaking control.
I'm just going to hold on to the cord so she doesn't pull
Getting out of control? What do you mean?
I don't know.
So my mom, sorry, not my mom, my wife. What a Freudian slip.
Your new mom.
Yeah. My wife the other day, she said, I don't think Shad likes the dog. I don't think Shad likes Lucy. Is that true? Do you not like my dog, dude? Let's talk it out.
She's chafing on me a little bit.
She's just chafing on you right now,
She's
dude?
chafing on me a little bit.
What is it? All right, let's air our grievances.
She barks too loudly.
Okay.
when we're down here trying to hang out or make a podcast.
Bark too loud, fur too hairy.
Yes.
And she's pulling my cord right now, dude. I feel the same way at this moment.
Yeah. This is a special treat for all the video viewers right now. Dylan's wrestling his dog.
I'm back.
Okay.
We're good. We're
Wow.
good.
I think that's the first time we've ever seen a suplex caught on tape of a man suplexing a dog.
Now,
Now she's coming for me.
Yeah.
no, but I will say, she's becoming a little bit more needy these last couple of months, yes, than previously. But I think that she's such a lovable little
You're like,
kiddo.
I think that it's my dog, and I like my dog.
Yeah, I do. I like my dog. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, it distresses me when other people don't like my dog. I don't know. Maybe it's like, as a person that does not have a kid, I imagine there is a sense that if somebody doesn't like your kid, you're like, well, what's their problem, dude? Right?
That's true.
They're trying to say something about me, right? The way that I handle my kid, the way I handle my dog. Okay, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
100%. I have problems.
No, goodness.
What do you think, Jimmy?
I've never had a kid, and being an adult, I've never had a dog either. We had a dog growing up.
Yeah.
But we treated him more like we loved the dog. He was a good dog, but he was kind of one of those dogs where we kept him outside for most of the time.
Yeah.
Not because we were punishing him, but he smelled bad. He was noisy, and he was a good dog. But I wouldn't say I would be, if someone called my dog a mean name, I would be inclined to agree with that person.
Okay.
Sammy Roberts, first among them, usually would call my dog very, very mean things. So,
okay. Things that are not repeatable on non-Patreon.
that's right. Yeah, tune into the Patreon.
As we list the slurs for dogs.
I love how my favorite qualifier is I love this thing or this person. First off, I love this person.
Mhm.
I love him a lot. Would rather they didn't do everything that I dislike about a person.
But I do love them. At the end of the day. Yeah,
I do love them.
Yeah. Well, all you have to do, like with everything, is you have to couch it all in prayer requests, right? You gotta, like, I'm really struggling from a spiritual sense. How I feel about how X is, a no good bastard, right, and a dirty liar. Well, wish you would pray for me about that.
Have you guys observed that it seems like at least in the people I talk to, people have kind of moved on from saying, no offense, but you're a real ugly person. They've moved on from prefacing it with no offense. Don't take this personally, but I really hate you. Yeah. I just don't get that much anymore. And maybe it's just because people just tell me I hate you or you're really ugly.
Yeah.
Without.
I mean, when's the last time somebody's done that though?
Well, working collections for a day.
Yeah.
Come back to you working collections.
How do you fortify yourself for doing that? I could never. I mean, that's beyond my capabilities.
I would say I'm very good at compartmentalizing things. I as soon as 5:30 hits, I turn myself off.
Yeah.
And for the most part, I treat my job like it's almost like a pre-recorded message.
Yeah.
Where, like I was saying before the show, I just have my message that I deliver.
Yeah.
And then it's like a decision tree. Depending on what the people say, if yes, go to here. If no, go to here. It's very bloodless kind of work, collections, surprisingly. But how do I steel myself for that job?
Schnapps.
Yeah. I don't really know. That's a good question. How
I could just imagine you sitting there with a rosary in your hand the whole time, just like going bead by bead.
I do have on my desk, it's like decorating a high school locker. I decorated my computer at work with a picture of Teddy Roosevelt, a picture of Blessed Solanus Casey. What's the other thing? One of those little comics from the back of the A section of the Wall Street Journal,
and the team photo of the 2006 Cowboys.
That's right, and a little prayer. But I love those little comics in the back of the Wall Street Journal. They're so clever. This one is some guy sitting in an office, with their goofy, triangular shaped heads, saying to another guy. He's passing him and he has loan officer above him on his desk, and he's just passing a little piece of paper, and he says, "Oh, don't worry about that indentured servitude stuff. That's just standard boilerplate." It's clever.
So you resonate with that man? Yeah.
I do. Both of them.
I feel like you'd have to disassociate making those calls in my mind. I'm like, what they're yelling at is not Jimmy working for a collections agency. They're yelling at collections agency.
It's true. You can't take it personally.
Yeah.
You can't take. Don't take this personally.
Yeah.
I hate you.
Yeah. They're not necessarily, usually, I imagine, kind enough to preface it with "don't take it personally." Or,
yeah. And it's usually there's a trajectory as the month goes on. We start the month just going nuts, calling people, because the month is when
they get paid.
People go. I was going to say when people go officially 30 days late.
Oh,
we call them once they go 30 days late. Once credit reporting issues arise, that's when we start to call them.
Yeah.
Beginning of the month, you get people. There's this one member I'm thinking of in particular. I really like him a lot. He's a good guy. But he's always forgetting to pay his darn bills. Yeah. And I'll call him and he goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry. And then he goes and pays. But as the month goes on, you get people who start off like that. "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'll take care of it. My wife pays the bills. I'll do it when I get home. I'm at work right now. Whatever." And you call these people and they give you the exact same excuse every single day. Yeah. And then as it gets to the end of the month, they're either cussing at themselves or cussing at me over the phone.
Yeah.
And then as soon as it rolls over to a new month, you start all over again. And I would say probably half the people I call every single month.
Yeah.
Whether it's them being forgetful or just having no money.
And they're like, "Jimmy, what's up?
Exactly. Hey, my dude."
Yeah, exactly. I've gotten regulars. "Hey, John, it's Jim calling from Michigan Educational. How you doing? Just checking in. Gonna pay? I also want to just see how you're doing, but you gonna pay? Please.
How's the wife? And does she have any money?
I don't want to send a guy who's like 6.5 feet tall and wears dark glasses to your house."
That's right. Well, our repo man, his name is Mr. T. I don't know
Beautiful.
what his first or last name is,
Yeah.
but he is.
Well, his last name's T, obviously. Yeah.
But he is our repo man, and if we want a car caught, he will go out and catch that car. He makes it happen. And a lot
how
of
much does a repo man get paid? I feel like that's a high intensity job.
Fairly well. They get compensated pretty well. I mean, if you want a lucrative business, go into repo. We pay repo companies a lot of money to take cars for us, and it's a shocking amount.
Especially in a state where it is illegal to own a gun in your home, right?
I mean, I don't know if they've ever gotten shot at, but
I mean, if I think there was like a Discovery Channel or a History Channel show that was just repo men.
Yeah, but that was like one of those super scripted.
I know,
shows.
but like if those are to be believed,
I watched one. It was hilarious. It was this. They were trying to repo someone's car in a parking garage. And like the gimmick of the episode is they had the office guy come in on a repo job, and like everybody else is like really aggressive black women, and he's like this dopey fat white guy, and he's like, "Oh man, oh gosh, are we repoing a car?" And he's like sitting in the van, and then they literally, I don't know how they pulled this, but the lady gets in her car when they try to repo it, pulls back and knocks one of the ladies off one of the floors of the parking garage onto the concrete. And then they're like, "You killed her. And the guy who's driving is like, "Oh man. Right? And then the car goes to leave the parking garage and she gets right up and like jumps on its hood. It's like, "You're not going anywhere." Beautiful. Man, I love reality TV. It's so trashy. It's awesome.
It is. Truth is stranger than fiction, though. I mean, I've heard stories of our repo guys encountering instances like that. Where there are people who've driven their cars off the flatbed truck once it's chained up. I mean, I think he helped them, of course, but we do. There's some. I mean, it doesn't. You don't need me to remind you guys this, but there are some crazy people in this world.
So you don't need to remind us because we are those crazy people. Is that what you're implying?
Well, perhaps.
There's some crazy people in this world, and I'm sure a good chunk of them are late on their car payments.
Yeah, and I know who you are.
Geez, true. He's got the receipts.
I've got my list, my front sheet from Carm.
Yes. Yeah, folks, we got freaking Jimmy McGrath on the show today. Professional Midwestern man.
Professional Midwesterner, Grand Knight.
Of Bishop Pelagian's Council 13318.
Yes.
Michigan.
And a guy who calls about loans as well.
That's right. Yeah, late loans, not on time loans. Just late
goodness. Yeah. Well, we're happy to have you on the show.
Thank you.
It's I feel like we got to clear the air because we've made fun of Jimmy many times on this podcast.
Yeah.
Right.
We like to joke that he doesn't listen to the show.
Which is partially true.
But he is listening to this episode at the very least.
Yes, exactly. Forced to, in a way. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, goodness. Well, we're happy to have you on. And guys, what is the show about? What do we do here, Shad?
Well, we talk about somebody's monomaniacal obsession for the week. It's called Monomaniacs for a reason. Everybody nowadays is learning something very briefly, learning all about it, and then forgetting about it very soon after. We want to capture people when they're still learning, still excited about something, and they want to share the world share with the world just how little they actually know. So, Jimmy, well, what is it that you wanted to bring to the show?
Well, as of this time yesterday, I really thought I was just going to talk about my life in Detroit because there's a lot of strange things that have happened to me, and Detroit's a very strange city, uniquely so. But this time today, after watching the movie Titanic last night, I kind of want to talk about that. Honestly.
Hey, there you go.
So I don't know. I mean, which do you think would be more enjoyable? There's a lot to talk about with both.
That's true. That's true. I'm whichever way you have a preference, whatever you think that you could.
Well, it's not like we can only need to talk about
That's
one
true.
thing.
We can hop from one to the other.
Yeah,
I imagine.
Even though the prefix
closely related,
the prefix mono is in the name of this podcast.
Yeah, I don't want to throw that off. Okay, we'll pick one.
Yeah. We can shift it if necessary.
Yeah. Well, I think we should just do one in that case.
Yeah,
we should just do one.
Okay.
I mean, I think what we'll do. I really know so little about Titanic. Actually, I mean, I did some research last night. I read the Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
Just like when everybody else.
Did you never talk to Dr. Connor about the Titanic? He loves to talk about the Titanic.
No. So I read some stuff about the Titanic and watched the movie.
Well, how about this? How about hit us with a cool factoid or two?
Cool factoid. Well, the Titanic was really big.
Yes.
It was large.
Yeah.
Its engines produced, I think I read 46,000 horsepower.
Wow.
Which is pretty big.
Yeah,
which is pretty big.
It's a lot of horses.
It's a lot of horses. Horses are good swimmers.
I've heard-
Most people don't know that. Actually, and that's not a joke either. They're good swimmers.
I mean, there are things called. Well, I was about to say seahorses. But no, that's wrong joke. No, but there are like horses that run in the ocean or like run across the are on
run
beaches.
on water?
Yeah. Well, no, they're like Jesus. They're running.
It's a rare breed.
Yeah.
They're only bred in
Nazareth.
Yes. There's only been one of them.
Yeah. So there's this conspiracy theory that I've heard about recently, and I don't know the details, but that the Titanic never sank. And that the sister ship that's still like floating is actually the Titanic, and the one that sank was the sister ship.
The sister ship was the Olympic or the Mauritania?
I think it was the Olympic.
Okay.
People claim
the
that the Olympic actually sank, and then the Titanic.
Really?
But I don't know.
So
I don't know.
The idea. The
White
idea
Star.
is basically that the Olympic was going to sink anyway, and in order to like either tear it apart or decommission it or do all these things was going to be a very large expense. And so the idea was we have this enormous insurance policy specifically on the Titanic.
Okay.
And so we'll
Because it was
basically
an unsinkable ship.
we'll paint the words Titanic on the side of this boat and pretend that it's the Titanic and send it out. And then, whether or not.
And White Star laughed all the way to the bank, apparently.
Well, I don't think that theory holds much water.
I got him. Now they did the Titanic.
That's right. I think we're just going to end up talking about the Titanic and boats writ large.
Yeah.
But anyways, I was reading in my extended research.
Yeah.
My paper will be published next quarter, actually.
In which journal?
Boats. Boats of America.
It's not even an American boat.
That's right. Boats of Northern Ireland. Was it Belfast? Was it Belfast?
You're the one who did the research.
I can't remember if it was Belfast or Liverpool, because Liverpool was the port of call.
Yes.
But I think it was made in Belfast.
That makes sense. All your Titanic heads out there.
Yeah. Let us know.
Throw it in the comments.
But the White Star Line had a ton of claims made against them. Like they were an immense amount of insurance claims. One was really crazy and made me feel kind of bad. I don't know why. But they were talking about when they went out to recover the bodies, the ships that went out didn't have enough morgue capacity and enough formaldehyde to embalm all the bodies. And the province of Nova Scotia, I believe it was Nova Scotia, it would have to be Nova Scotia, but they wouldn't let them bring bodies back unless they were embalmed.
Yeah.
So they had to leave a lot of bodies out in the water.
And forever, just like left them out. Yeah.
They're still floating.
Speak of the devil.
Oh, goodness, Lucy.
I guess I wasn't too far off base about this dog.
I kind of like it. She's got something going for her.
Anyway, so they ended up having to just leave them there to float.
Leave them. Yeah.
That's terrifying.
It is. Yeah.
Did they prioritize which bodies got home?
They did.
Based on what?
Guess.
How much money it looked like they
precisely,
had?
Yeah. Their stated reason was that they wanted to get as many first-class passengers as possible.
They paid for the ticket.
Well, so they could, for like their estates and their heirs, so they could validate that, who's the wealthiest guy in that ship? John Jacob Astor IV died on that ship. He was the wealthiest man on the ship, and they needed to verify that he was actually indeed dead.
so that his heirs could
exactly,
acquire the titles and the cash.
I still think he went to Argentina. That's me.
So what's the foundation of that?
Well, I mean, it's just a boat ride south. If the Titanic didn't really sink, then what's stopping him from going to Argentina? I mean, everybody was going to Argentina in those days. Yeah, to outrun somebody.
And then a couple of years later, too, a lot of people went to Argentina.
I actually have a good Brazilian friend from Brazil. He was born in Brazil, lived in Florida, now lives in Michigan. Good friend. He's an urban planner in Detroit. But he was telling me that basically everybody in southern Brazil and northern Argentina has last names like Schulman or Stein or things.
Every
like
once in a while, somebody will post on the internet. It's like, whoa, I was in Argentina and I went to the second largest Oktoberfest in the world. It's wild that you could just go, and everybody's like, "Oh, I wonder why."
Where'd that come from? I didn't know the Incans had Oktoberfest.
It's all that grain they have down there.
They're rubbing into their.
I was talking to somebody over Thanksgiving who is in the Army, and he was telling me, he's like, "Yeah, we have somebody who's one of our commissioned officers is this woman who's Argentinian, and her last name is like Fritz or something like that, right?" And the second that they were like, "Oh yeah, blah blah blah, German," and she was like, "No, I'm Argentinian," and then they all just like went blank face.
Have you guys seen that Monty Python bit? How it was a hotel in rural England, and it was like Adolf Hitler and all those other guys. After 1946 or whatever, it's like that.
Yes, exactly. Beautiful.
Yeah. It is funny.
No, but and a lot of the additional, I guess, conspiracy involves like cargo and what cargo was on there, and what bodies were and were not found, and that kind of a thing.
Did they find Lodester?
No, I don't think they found him.
Oh, so maybe he is in Argentina.
Maybe he is. I mean, the cargo thing. See, once again, I don't buy into the misinformation. But in all my Wikipedia research, they said that the ship apparently wasn't carrying that much cargo. There was really no bullion or other valuable things like that. I mean, there was the car in the movie Titanic.
Yes.
That was the car that was on the ship. That car was actually on the ship.
There was one car.
That's right.
It was the sex car.
That's right. Well, if we're gonna have one car, we gotta have that car. Well, I didn't even. It was my first time seeing the movie.
Yeah.
In college, Tim Plelly would always say to me, or whenever anybody was doing any sort of art, he would always, or anytime anybody was just using a pencil,
draw me like one of your French girls.
He'd always say that. And I never got it. I just thought it was something that he made up. That was clever, kind of funny.
To be fair, that kind of is a Timism, right? You could say it's something that he
and
made
that's
up.
why I wasn't sure if it was from a movie or not.
And so it's one of those touchstone films of American cinema, right? The kind of movie that everybody saw at its time, like The Matrix, right?
I've never seen The Matrix.
Well, as I said, at its time,
I know the red pill, blue pill thing.
There you go. Well, see, that's the thing is like
to be dangerous.
People.
Like the Titanic.
It was more than enough to be dangerous on the Titanic. It's a kind of movie, and I think we talked about this before, that like our generation never really saw, but we've been exposed with so many references because the generation just before us, everybody saw it, right?
Television, other movies are constantly referencing it.
As a quick question, are we millennials or are we a different generation?
We talked about this last episode.
Yes.
With Andrew Fink. I would say that we're...
I guess I should have done my homework.
Guy who listens to the show, Jimmy McGrath.
Casual.
Yeah.
Casually
listener to the show. So the distinction, some people, there's multiple distinctions. Technically, you were born in 97, right?
96.
96. Okay. 96, 97. I believe that 97 is technically the cutoff. We were born in 97.
Were you guys born on the same day?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So it wasn't like a 11:59, 12:01 kind of thing.
Celebrate two different birthdays.
But we were an hour and a half difference.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember one time my grandma said, "Well, we're gonna have to give presents to Dylan first about an hour and a half early," and I lost it. I lost it.
The old Hank. I want my present.
Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, no. Apparently, so it's 97 is technically the cutoff. So we're technically Gen Z.
Okay.
But
except for you,
Yes.
you'd be millennial.
But how culturally different are we? Right.
Yeah, we're essentially the same culture.
Culturally different. I think we're actually quite culturally different.
True.
That's a demographic.
That's a regional thing.
That's right. Yeah.
But, like everybody our age, like owned a VHS player and a DVD player.
Some people still do.
Yeah. Jimmy loves his VHS player.
That's right. Lethal Weapon 1, 2, and 3 on VHS. There's no other way to watch it.
Oh, dude.
You can watch Lethal Weapon on the plane. I watched it on the plane.
You watched it on a plane?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, it wasn't like half the movie was cut out.
Wait, quick question. Do you guys ever get Mel Gibson and Mel Brooks mixed up, like when you're referring to it?
Not at all. Never.
I mean, yeah, they're not the same at all. But, okay.
Yeah, and also very like diametrically opposed on certain issues.
Yes. It goes without saying.
But no, so that's one indication is like the did you own both thing, and then there's the other one, which is do you remember where you were on 9/11?
I do.
Okay, you remember 9/11?
I have memories from 9/11.
What's your memories from 9/11? This is the new thing we're doing on the show now, apparently. We actually had to describe to Andrew because Representative Fink went to an Army recruiter. He was old enough to like, he was 16 when the towers hit, and I was like, oh, that like nowadays for our generation, 9/11's passé. Like it's kind of a joke now. Like people our age and younger are making crazy memes, doing tons of jokes and whatnot.
Darn TikTok.
Yeah. It's totally different, right?
Yeah.
And he was very astounded by that. But what were you doing?
So I was in preschool.
Yeah.
Mrs. Shelley Berg Moser.
Mm-hmm.
It was I went to preschool twice actually.
Because you like Shelley so much?
I like Mrs. B a lot, and I liked what was the first preschool teacher I had? But two different places.
Yeah.
Beside the point. I don't remember what I was doing at that moment because I don't think you're in preschool. It's not like they're gonna wheel a TV
you were
out and
looking
say,
at
"Look."
blocks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you were sitting there listening to the president read to you.
That's right. Yeah. I was there in Florida that day, and we were all trying to figure out how to read, George Bush included. Fortunately, the book had pictures.
Yeah.
No, I like George Bush. He's grown on me a lot. But anyways, so I remember my parents or my mom picked me up. My dad worked for Ford Motor Company, still does.
Yeah.
She took us home, and I can remember either later in that day or on 9/12, sitting in my parents' bedroom watching. And I don't know why my parents let my brother and I watch it. Maybe we snuck.
Do you have a younger brother or
I do
older
have
brother?
a little brother.
Okay,
so
even
20
younger.
months younger. 21 months younger. He doesn't remember this, but I can.
Yeah.
We were in my parents' bedroom.
So he's Gen Z. Just
Gen
to
Z.
clarify.
Yes. Yes. We were sitting on the end of my parents' bed and watching their TV, and I can still remember them doing the replay of the second plane hitting the South Tower over and over again. I can remember, it's one of those things. I can remember the curtains on the window, but I can remember, it was a sunny September day. And I can remember just being a little confused and not really scared because it made so little sense to me as a preschooler.
Yeah.
But I can distinctly remember watching that.
Yeah,
I think
you're like, there's a lot of people in the Middle East are going to have to die for this.
That's right. Yeah. Kill him, George. Kill him. I don't know who we're killing, but get him. Get him, W. Get him, George.
No, but
It's the best moment of the Bush presidency. That him, wherever you are, you'll be hearing from us real soon.
I want the bullhorn speech put in the Western Heritage Reader, or the American Heritage, or the Western if we really want to get crazy, but the American at least.
Yeah, the bullhorn speech is probably the
it's
best.
only like what 2 minutes long.
Yeah, it's the by far the.
we should just play that before every episode of the show.
Oh, I would play that before every episode.
Goodness, go full war mode on this. Dude.
Right.
Goodness. Yeah. So I mean, to shift a little bit. I guess a lot of it. So, do you think that partially your obsession with the Titanic kind of stems from a certain Michigan boat that sunk in a certain ocean or lake?
When the gales of November turned early.
Yeah.
Well, she had a load of iron ore, 26,000 tons or more.
So you're a big fan of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Just
fan?
November
he
10th,
could
1975.
He can say that he's a fan. Of the boat itself. So there's nothing my wife despises more than listening to that song. It immediately pisses her off.
Really?
Yeah, and she's a Michigan native. She's been here all her life. So, I mean, maybe it's because she heard it so many times, but I mean, does it bring a tear to your eye, Jimmy, as a true Midwesterner?
Sometimes it does.
Yeah.
Sometimes it really does.
Yeah.
I mean, Gordon Lightfoot is a remarkable songwriter.
Yeah.
Shame
that he had to eventually, create Lori Lightfoot of the same family, of course.
Yeah. Too bad. But he was on the record not a few years ago saying, "Yeah, all my friends are dead, and I'm really old, and I'd kind of like to die too. I've done everything I want to do, and I just won't die."
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I listen to that song pretty regularly, actually.
Yeah.
It's kind of cathartic for me. That that rocking rhythm to the song.
Much like a boat.
Much like a boat.
Yeah.
I've tried to describe this to people, and they don't get it.
Yeah.
But if you listen to that song enough, you can kind of see how it's a boat rocking back and forth on some waves. I do have a fascination with maritime history. I don't really know that much, to be honest.
Specifically maritime disasters.
Maritime disasters, yeah. The Costa Concordia, Edmund Fitzgerald, Titanic, Lusitania. Did you guys ever read that Eric Larson book about Lusitania?
No, is it one of the ones that's like it was an inside job?
No.
Yeah.
It's just kind of one of those classic, kind of you're a 55-year-old man and
Yes.
you want to read a history book, so you read Eric Larson. I mean, it was a good book, but yeah, I would say part of it is that. I think the Edmund Fitzgerald, my whole thesis about the Edmund Fitzgerald is that was the moment when American industry began to decline. It was like the marker
of the creation of
that
like
signified
the Rust Belt.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Because it was made by not Detroit Iron Works, Great Lake Iron Works, I think, in River Rouge, Michigan. It was hauling, iron ore from Michigan and Wisconsin and Minnesota, and it was heading to Cleveland. I mean, all the big industrial states had a stake in this, and it was the pride of the American side, as he sings. And then it sunk like this indomitable ship, like the Titanic. It was unsinkable. Sunk just unexpectedly, and for years, I mean, no one knew how it sank. In the song, he also says it may have broke up, or it might have capsized. It may have rolled deep and took water, until I think a decade or two ago, they had no idea really even where it was. They generally knew where it was at on the seafloor, but they didn't. I mean, I think the mystery of maritime disasters is what interests me the most.
Because the ocean is such an unknowable phenomenon.
Unknowable. What is it? There's countless stories too of people, rolling up to small towns in the Caribbean or something on a raft and just being like, I can't, we were attacked by some sort of unseen force, or the St. Elmo's fire
like
problem,
Bermuda Triangle.
The Bermuda Triangle or stuff like that, or people committing cannibalism and all this stuff. Like there's something specifically harrowing about a maritime disaster, because at this point now too, I mean, since the frontier doesn't really exist anymore, that's sort of the frontier. I mean, just traveling on a boat is sort of a frontier in its own way. There's no one who can help you.
Colonize Mars.
Hell yeah, dude! It's like that.
That's right.
We need to have a Donner party event. Donner party. Excuse me. Donner party. We have a Donner party on Mars. That's exactly what needs to happen eventually.
That's right,
guys. This is good enough time as any to thank our patrons. Right? You help make the show happen out there. I want to make a special shout out to our top patrons: Joe Papalardo, Sammy Roberts, and Zach and Amber Strehle. You make this show possible, but everybody else who also contributes, you make our show possible. And I want to make a shout out to our new $5 patron, Andrew Fink. Thank you, sir. And to go
the long lineage of guys who've been on the show and been like, I should probably.
The record show. I gave well before I was on the show.
There you go.
That generous dollar a month.
It is generous, Jimmy. We appreciate it. We really do. And I don't mean that facetiously. We
do appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's $12 a year.
I mean, that's $12 I didn't have.
I spent $9 on Subway today. So I mean, that's like a Subway sandwich and a half right there.
Chips and a cookie.
I didn't get chips and a cookie.
I know, but there you go.
For that. Oh yeah, and then chips.
Okay. There you go.
Uptake.
Yes. So at the $5 tier, you guys get access to the Patreon exclusive episode that we record each week with our guests. Things are a little crazy. It's behind the paywall, as it were. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, hop over there. And at the $10 tier, you can ask us questions that we answer on the show. And so I got questions. First off, I got a Jimmy McGrath specific question from Samuel Roberts.
Oh, great.
Of course he pulled it.
Okay.
Jimmy, what are your life pro tips, just in general, about life What are your tips?
Hit me with some tips.
When a coworker harasses you sexually, just grin and bear it. It's not worth the lawsuit because it's not going to go anywhere. Tune in for the Patreon.
Tune into the Patreon for more information. Hey, that's a really good. I think that's not a very good piece of advice.
If you're a man, maybe, but for women, that's not a good piece of advice.
It's not a good advice. Actually, sexual harassment is a very serious problem in the workplace, and it needs to be addressed. But the Me Too movement goes both ways.
Yes,
some men can also be the recipient.
Yes. Which is
going to be the subject of our Patreon.
Yes, and a life pro tip.
That's a life pro tip.
Yeah. Here's another one. This one's from Joe Papalardo, which is: which of your parents are you the more alike, and why?
Oh, my mom.
Yeah,
my mom.
Mm-hmm. You give off mom energy, and I mean that in a good way. As a guy who gives off mom energy in comparison to my brother.
See, I've been told by years that I give off dad energy, which is interesting.
Well, it's true, but if you really dig deeper, and know the true Jimmy that's underneath, right? Yeah, not just that surface level stuff. I feel like your feminine side pours forth.
I feel like the mom portion of you is like what are you guys up to? Nice.
Kind of, yeah. I'll be in the kitchen.
Yeah, that's very much. Dad would be a little bit more nosy, I think. In most circumstances. So
I would say I'm more like my mom.
Yeah,
she's her personality. I have the same personality she does, but I look just like my dad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So. Mm-hmm. It's almost like they had a child together.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Wow.
It's almost you got a little bit from one, a little bit from the other.
That's what people are telling me.
Yeah. Fake news. Don't believe it. Misinformation. I read it on Wikipedia.
Yeah. Crazy goodness. Yeah. Anyway, again, thank you guys out there for asking questions and all that. And we'll get back to the show. Because it's important that we talk about the movie, the Titanic itself, right? Because this is where this is what this is sort of come from, right? Is your love for the Titanic? Well, I'm not going to say love, but maybe.
You did say before the show that it might be one of your favorite movies of all time now.
Like I said, Gran Torino, Gone with the Wind. Titanic is probably up there.
Okay. So how did this movie
White Boys Can't Jump?
Yeah.
Waterman
1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Norbert.
Norbit, not Norbert. Norbit. Get it straight. Come on.
The only bit of that movie I've seen was because you made everybody watch it.
Well, it's worth watching.
Yeah, it's true. It is worth watching.
It's artistic.
Yes,
it's artistic.
Okay, so
any movie that Eddie Murphy plays 5 characters or more, it's worth watching.
It's a work of American art.
Yeah,
just that.
I listened to this podcast the other day where this guy gave like a really spirited argument that Tyler Perry should have won an Oscar for his what are those movies where he
Medea.
The Medea movies where he plays like 8 people.
Oh, no one else can play 8 people. They're all kind of 8 of the same kind of person.
Boo, a Medea Halloween 2 is really good.
An American classic.
It streams on Peacock pretty much every other week. So if you guys have that.
Yeah,
even when it's not Halloween. That's good. It sounds like good Christmas viewing. That's for the upcoming holiday season.
There's a Medea Christmas.
Yeah. So tell me about
what?
About this question that you had for Jimmy. You were
I was just asking. So what about the Titanic in particular, right? Because that's against 2 great works of American art, right? Gran Torino, Gone with the Wind. One may be more respected than the other, but putting Titanic into that realm, I think a lot of people may agree with you. But, give us an argument. Why?
Yeah, well, I'm curious to hear what you guys think of Leonardo DiCaprio. I think the acting was very good. Mm-hmm. I think it was, he's younger in that movie. He's probably our age when he was doing that movie.
So I don't think younger.
Really?
Let me look it up. Look it up. Keep going.
I think, his acting wasn't as great as it is in other movies that he's been in.
Yeah.
But I think that's
he was young.
A function of him being a kid, pretty much. But otherwise, I think the acting was very good.
Was he a Mickey Mouse Club kid?
He was a child actor. I don't remember if exactly it was a Mickey Mouse Club.
He played Gilbert Grapes. He played the Gilbert Grapes.
I never did.
What's eating Gilbert Grapes?
Clubs.
Okay. Well, no, neither did I.
Oh,
that's before our time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right.
Okay. What year did Titanic come out?
2000, right?
99.
99.
Okay. So for some reason I said, how old was Leonardo DiCaprio? And it autocorrects the search to say 23 years old in 1997. So this phone may be listening to us right
We'd also
now.
like to take a moment to thank our sponsor, DuckDuckGo. Are you tired of listening to your searches?
Yeah. ExpressVPN.
Yeah.
Use code Monomaniacs at checkout.
For 6 cents off.
Yeah, ExpressVPN if you're looking for yet another podcast to sponsor.
But what really made me like the movie a lot was how well And I'm not a big David Cameron fan, to be
Yeah.
honest. I think he's a little ham-fisted.
You mean James Cameron?
James Cameron. Yeah, I don't like David Cameron either, the former British Prime Minister.
I was gonna say. Yeah.
Sorry.
Speaking of that,
21 years old, by the way.
He's
Other side,
21.
Dylan. That one right there.
Shoot, sorry. I don't know what happened. This
Dylan just keeps making
Dude,
noises.
I know.
You're going the wrong way.
If it's not
tightening
me
it.
or it's my dog.
Yeah,
dude.
you're tightening it. The
Okay,
wrong way.
we're good. We're
A
here.
little higher, so I
Boom.
can sit up.
Sit up a
Or-
little bit. Yeah,
sit up
posture, man.
erect.
Posture's
Yeah.
important. Anyway, he was 21 years old,
Size
so he was a
of the
bit
bill.
younger than
Okay.
we are.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think that we've probably have accomplished about
As much?
Yeah, 6 times as much as he did.
If not more.
Yeah. By the time he was 21.
I mean, Jimmy lives in Detroit.
Yeah.
Can he ever say he did that? Leonardo DiCaprio?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't know why he would want to.
Because
be able to say
and
that.
Jimmy would know whether or not he was
That's
born
true.
in Detroit.
That's true.
That's
Most
the thing
likely.
I think that Jimmy would know.
Yeah.
So you think so you're not a big fan of David Cameron or James
Or
Cameron,
James Cameron,
but
the last real prime minister before that old Thatcher. No, I think what I really enjoyed most about the movie was how they made the plot of Jack and Rose really seamless with the plot of the actual characters on that Titanic.
Yeah.
I mean, they at the end of it, I thought to myself, did this actually happen?
Yeah,
Is this a real story? Is this old lady actually like playing a real survivor from the Titanic? And
No.
after my research, no. Wikipedia confirms no. But they had J. Bruce Ismay, they had John Jacob Astor IV. They had was there a Rockefeller guy on that boat? I can't.
I
remember.
assume so.
I think there was a Rockefeller. I
Some
think
sort of
so.
Rockefeller.
Yeah, some variant. The BA2 variant of Rockefeller, or whatever we're on now. But that's what I really enjoyed most about the movie. The acting was good. I like the movies where it's a historical subject. It's always like World War II or the Titanic. But you watch these movies
Always.
and you already know how they're gonna end. You
Yeah.
know the ship's gonna sink. You know the Allies are gonna win.
Yeah.
But you still think, there's still a chance. I'm not saying I want a chance for the Nazis to win, but you still think there's.
That's good because I was about to really unload on you.
Yeah.
We were about to send this over to Gizmodo, dude. And you're about to get read into it.
But you think there's just an outside chance, and it's not
Yeah.
every movie that makes you think that things are still going to go well. But the Titanic did it. I
Yeah.
think he did it. And I know they used a lot of like miniatures and props like that in the movie. There was only one shot in the movie where you could tell, okay, that's just a toy boat sinking in a bathtub somewhere
Yeah.
at Warner Brothers Studios or Universal Studios, whatever it was.
New Line Cinema.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But other than that, I think he made good use of that.
Yeah.
I think it was long, but it didn't feel like a slog. The commercials on Pluto TV were the same 4 commercials every single commercial break.
Yeah.
It was Cash App, some Better Health,
Yeah.
Minted, and I can't remember.
BetterHelp apparently was not doing a really good job with that ad because it's not called Better Health, it's called Better Help.
Yeah,
But-
Better Help. Did I say Better Help or Better? Oh,
You said Better Health.
Better Help. Yeah, okay, there you go. Yeah. Well, I don't want to do that now, but
Yeah.
yeah. All in all in, I think the movie was very good.
here's
for all
a
those reasons.
weird Venn diagram that I just remembered. James Cameron was underwater looking at the Titanic. No, this is after the movie came out. When 9/11 happened.
On 9/11.
No way.
He was.
Wow.
And
That sounds like something he made up.
no, there's footage of it.
Where like he found out the news while he was looking at the Titanic.
No, so he didn't know. And it was him, and I think he took like another director or somebody famous. I don't know off the top of my head with him because
David Cameron.
at this point, yeah,
Brother.
yeah. James Cameron at this point was, like the Titanic guy.
Yeah,
And I think he's
Yeah.
made like 4 or 5 documentaries even since that movie came out.
Yeah.
Where it's just him going, "I'm James Cameron." I think I said David Cameron again.
I've done it.
Jimmy, you've corrupted us.
This is where David Cameron's political comeback begins.
Yeah.
Nice.
Dude, Cameronism, dude, is gonna rise in America.
Anyway, James Cameron, he was like, "I'm James Cameron, and I'm gonna go look at the Titanic again." But he was down looking at the Titanic, and there's footage of him surfacing, and it's just this footage from behind his sub, and the hangar is just full of people, and they're all looking, and he gets out. He's like, "Huh? Oh, what happened?" And someone says, "Only the worst terrorist attack in U.S. history."
Is Is that literally
No,
what they said?
seriously.
Yeah.
Why do you all look like someone just shot your dog?
They just shot the American people.
Yeah. It's a pretty wild clip. Oh, we should watch it afterwards
Yeah.
or something. But I might edit it in if if Dylan reminds me to edit it in. But
because that's my job.
that's Dylan's
It's a
job.
reminder, professional.
Yeah, but
reminder.
it's a funny Venn diagram of the two things that we're talking about. I
Wow,
suppose.
it's funny how those things just all come together.
Oh, exactly.
So it's almost like they're two of the major moments historically. In
So what
American
is it in
history.
your mind? Because I imagine you don't like the film Avatar, which is now its sequel, Way of Water, is coming out
right.
sometime in the next
Yeah.
month or so, right?
Yeah.
Soon, yeah.
Yeah.
Very soon.
What is it that worked about Titanic that didn't work about
Well,
Avatar?
I think the people looked like us. That helps. I kind of like that. It's a little more relatable.
And that's also like completely like
Well, so the whole point,
apples and oranges.
So here's the
right?
thing about Cameron's thing, though, is he's like, I'm pushing the limits. David Cameron was like, I'm pushing the limits of this prime ministership. I'm pushing the limits of technology. It's his thing.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
with like the Titanic, he's like, I'm going underwater for this. I'm in a submarine to make a movie, that all the practical effects and et cetera, high budget, Celine Dion. I mean, come on.
Well, I like in the movie, they start with a tune of My Heart Will Go On, about 2 hours left in the movie.
Yeah.
But they get so close to having her start to sing, and then she doesn't start singing until the credits. Like the Statue of Liberty's there, the rain starts to come down,
Yeah.
and then, then the credits roll, and then she finally starts singing.
Yes, the Canadian national treasure.
Yeah. Right. Yes.
Was that to make sure that like every one of the transatlantic superpowers had a representation in the film?
Yeah, it's true. Yes.
A very British and American film, but no, the Canadians, they had a
Mexico didn't get anything. I would
That's
consider
true.
them a transatlantic power.
not a superpower though.
Well, no, of course not. But they border a sea that borders.
I wonder if there was a Mexican national who died on that boat.
I did not find that in my research.
Seriously
No.
doubt it.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah, it was mostly people from the British Isles and Scandinavian immigrants. I didn't,
Really?
didn't
Oh.
really
You mean a
realize
lot
that.
of
Makes
the
sense.
people at the lower decks were Scandinavian?
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
That doesn't come across.
Where they belong. We're
Yeah, those Scandinavian people.
yeah. Be careful what you say.
Are you Scandinavian? But well, no, you're Polish.
Polish,
Yeah,
Croatian, and Irish.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
but I like to
the gutter peoples.
Yeah, that's right.
The
yeah.
Catholic gutter peoples.
If you want to find a ethnicity that's been kicked around in European history, you look no further than my family. tree.
yeah.
Any which direction you go, you're gonna find one. I dated a girl of Serbian descent in high school.
Yeah.
High school. She's a nice girl, sweet girl. I think she's getting married or something now. But
Yeah.
no
No problem.
When I found
no,
it,
yeah, I'm
good,
not
always
thinking about
good
it.
for her.
Yeah.
I hope they have metal detectors at their wedding. But when I found out,
really obscure Serbian joke right there.
when I found out she was Serbian, I was a little shocked. I don't have any ill will against her because she's Serbian. But
Yeah.
I just didn't know that there were really any Serbians in America.
Yeah, there's some kicking around. I mean, after especially the 80s, or actually no, the 90s.
90s.
Yeah, after the 90s.
What was that
after
like
Bosnia Herzegovina.
94? Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my I don't think I've talked about this actually. One of my favorite fun facts about the Clinton administration.
And there's so many. There are
So many
of them.
is that after the Lewinsky scandal broke and Hillary and Bill stopped talking for a while, Hillary, the first time she talked to Bill since the scandal broke was to call him and say, you need to resume missile strikes in Bosnia.
a true stateswoman.
Yeah.
I remember in 6th grade, we were learning about Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
And the Lewinsky stuff came up, and we're 6th graders at a Catholic school in rural Michigan.
Yeah.
How's our teacher supposed to address this? He goes, and there was a scandal, and he got impeached. All right, let's move on to George W. Bush. And one of the kids asked, well, what was the scandal? And she goes, oh, well, he did some inappropriate things with a lady he wasn't married to.
Yeah.
And that should be enough to sate the thirst of 6th grade boys, you
Yeah.
would think. But we kept pressing it, and she gave the good old, oh, well, just ask your parents when you get home, you know?
Yeah. Classic.
Classic. Yes.
Did you ask your parents?
No, because I knew it was something inappropriate. And I was afraid to ask what it
You
was.
were a good boy.
Because I didn't want to know.
You didn't want them to be like, why did my son have to know
Yeah.
about cigars?
Well, to this day, I don't actually exactly know what happened.
Hey, you know what? You're a better American
That's-
for it.
yeah,
There
that's
you go.
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Put your head in the sand, Jimmy. It's not worth it.
There's a peasant piety to his relationship to the presidency.
I know he exists, and I pray for him every day.
Yeah.
That's as far as it goes.
But
I think that might be what
a true American president should be. It's someone that you know exists, but you pray for, but you have no other relationship to. That's just an opinion.
I like that. I like that.
I think so.
Some liturgical traditions will like pray for the president. Because like in the Catholic tradition, you name your pope and your bishop, et cetera. And I went to a LCMS service for a recognition of baptism. That's the Missouri Synod Lutherans.
Yep.
And they like pray for the president by first name, like, and for Joe, our president. I was like, whoa, that's awesome.
That is cool. Yeah.
That's pretty sweet. I think they do the same thing with the bishops, though. Yeah, because we pray for Earl, our bishop.
Yeah,
rather than Boye.
Yeah. Well,
I love that.
I don't know why it's the first name for the bishops. I mean, I guess it makes sense. I mean, you're called by first name instead of hey boy, how you doing?
What's the feeling on the Catholic side of the table on a bishop coming to speak as a commencement speaker at Hillsdale College?
I don't know. I'm excited. Yeah. I mean, he's kind of been a media guy for years, so that's a charisma of a sort. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's neat. I learned about it just a day or two ago. So it was almost news when you mentioned.
Yeah, wow, crazy.
Yeah. It's like you just came up from a submarine, or I came up from a submarine, and everybody looking
like
at me.
Bishop Robert Barron speaking commencement.
What? No, I think it's neat. I know that there are some more traditionally minded Catholics in America. I'm not one of them, but who have some beefs with him.
There's also some more untraditionally minded Catholics in America who have beef with him as well.
Yeah, it's almost like he cuts a really happy medium. Just, navigates things well.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to hear what their response is on both sides. But I like him. I think it'll be neat. I mean, he's an intellectual.
But what are the Protestants feeling? They think this is unhealthy.
I have no thoughts on it.
To play Protestants advocate.
Yeah, to play
thing.
No. As I always do on this show, I will play gamer's advocate here.
That's an important role.
Yeah, exactly. I think that one could argue, right, that it's like, why are we showing so much preference towards Catholicism in on this campus? Because so many of these students are now Catholic and all that stuff. And so much of the faculty is Catholic. But me, whatever, I don't care about it. But
who's this Jesus guy?
Who's this Jesus dude?
Yeah.
Good question. Who is Jesus?
We
ask this all every day.
Tune into the Patreon to find out.
Yeah, right. We didn't tell you this because you don't pay for the Patreon episodes, so you wouldn't know. But at the end of every Patreon episode, we do give the gospel, right? So we do. We do take the Bible out and we do give the gospel.
Yeah.
So something to look forward to.
It's sort of like going to see a Christian music concert and halfway through, during a guitar solo, they start saying, if anybody hasn't accepted Lord Jesus Christ and their Lord and Savior.
I've never been to one, so I've nenever watched your Patreon episode either. I like today's gospel. Today's gospel is good, but you guys can read whatever you want. We don't need to follow the Roman missal lectionary.
Yeah, goodness. So I mean, we're nearing the end of this episode.
That's true.
Oh wow, that was fast.
Yeah, it was fast.
We almost talked about Titanic a little bit.
Yeah. I think we kind of hit as much as you had to say about it.
I think that's true.
We gave you a couple of opportunities to riff, and you were like, "Yeah, I liked it. It was cool."
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's all you need.
I almost watched it in college. We were living.
Imagine
in our
how
house.
different your life would have been.
I know.
That's you joke, but I think it would have been different if I would have watched it.
Yeah.
But I was peeled away from watching the movie. We all gathered around our TV. We started the movie at like 6:30 in the afternoon because we knew it was gonna be long.
Yeah.
There'd be bathroom breaks, things like that.
Then somebody walked into the room and said, "Guys, you're gonna miss the rosary if you don't leave right now."
Sammy Roberts.
Is that what it was?
No, it was a girl. It was a girl. She wanted me to take her for a drive, and I just couldn't. I couldn't say no. I couldn't say no.
Wow, not very often that a girl says, "I would like you to take me for a drive."
Yeah. But. So, anyways, I missed the entire movie. We got back, and literally the credits were rolling. It was a long drive, I guess. I don't know where we went. It wasn't the bow of any ship in a 1912 Duesenberg double deuce. I know that for certain.
We'll save it for the Patreon. Goodness gracious. Oh well. thank you so much for coming on, sir.
Yeah,
It's been a
thanks for
blast.
having me.
Yeah.
I'm glad we could finally make this happen.
I know.
Yes,
Well, for those of you who don't know, we wanted Jimmy. We
always want Sammy.
Yeah.
We wanted Jimmy to be on the show.
Nobody's first choice.
Like over a month ago, but
Yeah,
there was some scheduling problems.
A little bit of a
Yes, for those who are wondering, the episode that we had John Shashka on, there were supposed to be like 3 episodes we recorded that day, and the only one who showed up was John Shashka.
So, but hey, nobody in this room, I would say, is at fault, right?
we can blame it on Tim Pawelli.
Yeah, I think we could blame it on Tim.
Because
we got to get Tim on the show one of these days.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
That would
so
be
he could defend himself for all the calumny that we've spoken against him over the years.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah. And you did a great job.
You did a great
thanks,
job.
thanks.
And you're gonna go see Tim after this, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah.
Yep. I got to go see his bathroom. It's now finished.
Yeah.
There you go.
What did you guys end up? What were you working on when you were doing it?
I mean, basically, like just very little. We didn't get anything done. That's long and short of it.
Were you like drinking out of a coffee mug and going, "Yeah, that looks pretty rough."
That's gonna set you back
much.
2-3 grand, but I got a friend.
It
Come in.
that I'm the friend.
I got a friend on parole. He could take a look at that.
Yeah, I'll spring him from the Burger King over there in Hillsdale.
All right, anyway, see you guys on the Patreon. See ya. Bye.